just have a sit down for a couple of minutes on this log, and I've been thinking about this as I've been walking through the forest. Obviously the forest is a three-dimensional entity. It's obvious, right? We live in a three-dimensional world, trees are tall, the ground is low. But it's not the only thing that has more than one dimension. Our brain, in a sense, has at least several dimensions. So the two I want to talk about today are your conscious mind and your unconscious brain. Now, as you know, I talk about mental health problems and I work with people all the time who struggle with things like panic and anxiety, depression, stress. And it's always the case that the problems that you will struggle with, anxiety, panic, whatever, are created in your unconscious brain, but they are experienced in your conscious mind. So it's in your conscious mind that you feel guilty, that you complain, that you avoid things, that you feel anxious, you feel panicky, you feel depressed, you feel down, you experience low mood, you struggle with health concerns, you struggle with relationship problems. All of these are experienced in your conscious mind, but they're created in your unconscious brain. So this is like a two-dimensional problem, if you like. So the real question is this: how do you retrain your unconscious brain to stop giving you the experiences that you have, like anxiety and panic, etc., in your conscious mind? That is the question. If you stay at the end, I'll tell you the answer. And I've worked with many hundreds of people over the years, and this is the answer that I've synthesized over all the time, over thousands and thousands of clinical hours of experience. I will tell you the answer to retraining your unconscious brain.
They don't have to say it. I already know. I've played in fire times before. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm aware of the danger.
And really, it was figured out through the process of therapy. Now, therapy's been around for 100 plus years, and I think that cognitive behavior therapy has got the right idea because it works really, really well. And what cognitive behavior therapy has figured out so well is this: what you believe about yourself, what you feel, what you understand, the beliefs you have about yourself, how the world works, your place in the world, a lot of times these are wrong. How you feel is incorrect because it's probably based upon what you think and then what you understand. And how you feel is often wrong. Now, we experience it in conscious mind, right? And we tend to always assume that what we experience is valid, accurate, and true. And the clever thing about CBT is it says, well, hang on, is this feeling accurate and true? Is what you think about yourself actually true? And it goes, okay, well, if it is true, fine. But if it's not true, then the emotion that you're experiencing is based upon the incorrect thoughts, beliefs, meanings that you have about yourself. And therefore, you're kind of working on the wrong program. Now, the unhelpful stuff, the wrong stuff, is generated through processes in your unconscious brain. It filters through and you experience it in your conscious mind. And the secret is this: you have to tell your unconscious brain that it's got it wrong. Now, you can't just say, brain, you've got it wrong, because your brain goes, well, like, what have I got wrong? What you have to do is you have to say, brain, I am not a bad person. I feel bad, but I'm not a bad person. I might feel like a failure, but I'm not a failure. I am not how you're making me feel. I am not under threat. I don't need to protect myself. I don't need to be frightened of going to the supermarket. I don't need to be frightened of eating out. You've got to go, brain, I do not need these experiences because these experiences are wrong. You have to tell your brain that it's got stuff wrong. Otherwise, it will just assume, well, you might not like it, but it's correct. So complaining and feeling guilty and feeling miserable, all of that stuff has no bearing, makes not a slight bit of difference. You've got to tell your brain that it's wrong. It's got it wrong. And you have to do it consistently, and you've got to believe that it's got it wrong as well. If you think that you're a failure, but you're not a failure, what do you think the outcome of that's going to be? You're going to feel bad about yourself. You're going to want to avoid being found out by other people because we're social animals and we want to feel valued. And you're going to do all sorts of other interesting things to kind of protect yourself based upon this mistaken idea that you're a failure. I can't tell you the number of times I've spoken to people who believe that they're a failure, but they're not. It's just a feeling. Now, this conflict nicely illustrates the point that how we feel about ourselves is often based upon what we think, what we believe, but that doesn't make it correct. It doesn't mean that just because I feel it, it's accurate. And this is the basis of all mental health problems, right? I feel it, and I kind of, I believe my feelings to be true, but your feelings are not true. Your feelings are a distortion based upon years of practice and years of thinking stuff that's not very useful about yourself. So what we do is we develop a position, and the position's basically this, right? I want to feel better. I assume that I'm as same as everybody else. I'm not a bad person. I don't need to feel frightened. I'm an ordinary person. Therefore, any kind of mental health problem is a mistake. It's an error. So we go, okay, I should, in all seriousness, I should feel okay. But if I don't feel okay, my brain has got stuff wrong. What is the stuff that my unconscious brain is giving me that I'm experiencing in my conscious mind? What are the problems I experience? Do I actually need to have these? Is there something about me that means I should be depressed or anxious or panicky? Well, there isn't. You're just the same as everybody else. All that's happened is that your unconscious brain is giving you these problems, and it doesn't need to do that. You've got to tell it that it's got it wrong. You've got to do it consistently until it changes its mind, until it starts giving you different stuff, until it starts giving you more accurate stuff. And this conflict that you set up is the absolute key to retraining your brain. Because your brain wants to be calibrated to reality, and that means that you have to keep telling it that it's getting stuff wrong and that you don't need to feel this way. This is the key to therapy. I feel like a bad person, but am I a bad person? No, I'm not. I feel anxious, but do I need to feel anxious? Am I under threat? No, I'm not. I'm overly concerned about this, or I'm overly concerned about that. But in fact, are these things just normal processes? Yes. I worry, therefore I'm catastrophizing about terrible things happening. Do these things happen? No. These are all unconscious processes. These are all processes that are developed in your unconscious brain, and you suffer them in your conscious mind. And this is the problem of all mental health issues in the world, actually. So, you're a good person, you have value, you do the best you can. You've got to practice believing that and telling your brain that it's getting this stuff wrong, and it doesn't need to do that. You want your brain to recalibrate to reality. So I hope that's interesting. Thanks for taking the time to watch this, and please like and subscribe if you found it useful. And watch some of my other videos on the various channels that they are on. Found an empty office. Quick before anyone comes back. Right, look, so you are a bit like an iceberg, but I'm drawing a pyramid. The very top here, this is conscious mind. The rest of it, the vast majority of it, is unconscious brain. All mental health problems are created constantly in unconscious brain, but they're experienced in conscious mind. You can experience them all of your life, and that won't make any difference to unconscious brain, because your unconscious brain keeps generating it every day. It's refreshed every day. The problems are created. What you have to do is to reprogram your brain by telling your brain that unconscious brain is making mistakes. Now, your brain wants to be calibrated to reality, so if you tell it it's making mistakes, if you consistently tell it it's making mistakes, it will reprogram. And that is how you learn. You learn something, and it's wrong or it's not quite accurate. You can learn it and correct it. You're always updating your brain. But if we stick with believing our experience in conscious mind is valid and accurate, it will never change unconscious brain. Right, I better get out of here.
But I do it all again just to feel the